some of
in
this.
Alabama?
We're trying to really encourage all students to learn to code, because even for those students that don't want to do computer science, it's great to know what's possible.
Okay, well, anyway, I'm going to leave a link to this story. Basically, look, all of these butthurt losers are busy all day long. Every single iPhone recommendation I'm getting in my YouTube feed now is about some jerk off complaining about Apple's iPhone prices. Tim Cook defends pricing of new iPhones. So basically, I had to do this. I had to do another let's read the comment section. I really just had to do it. But the simple fact of the matter is, and I said this in my last video, and somebody commented on it that, you know, I deserve an award for being the realest of the real by saying it. Guess what? If you can't afford it, you ain't supposed to have it. It's just like right now. I don't have $3 million to go out there and buy a Bugatti Chiron. I don't have $500,000 to throw away. I'm sorry, actually $700,000 to throw away on a Lamborghini Aventador SV. If I had that shit right now, goddamn right, I'd probably have me a Bugatti and a Lamborghini sitting outside. But I ain't got it. So you know what I have to do? I have to work harder in order to somehow figure out a way to make twice or three times that much money in order to look back and say, you know what, I'm gonna buy this Lamborghini. And you know what's so funny about it is there's a bunch of children on fucking YouTube who've made so much money on YouTube and not even working a real job that they've been able to afford to waste money on Ferraris and Lamborghinis and shit like that. It's astounding, but you know, that just tells you how far technology has taken us. It's taken us to the point where, you know, just about anybody can, you know, make money on the side and be able to afford it. So anyway, it says last week, Apple's executives unveiled 3 new iPhones at Cupertino in California, the tech giant's biggest and most expensive iPhones to date. The XS starts at $999, while the XS Max has $1,099 price tag. Apple also debuted what the company described as the affordable XR at $749. Now, first of all, before I even get started reading these lovely comments, the one thing that I have to do is take us back to the website, because what I want you to remember, first of all, you ain't supposed to be able to afford to upgrade every year. Because, you know, first of all, the majority of the people who are complaining are all these damn children who can't seem to convince their parents that they need another $1,000 phone when their parents spent their last welfare check on the iPhone X. So what Apple has done for you lesser fortunate people out there is they kept the iPhone 7 around. So guess what? If you really want an iPhone, well, we've got this old-ass iPhone 7 for you with its obsolete technology, its obsolete camera, its obsolete CPU, and its obsolete RAM. So if you really, really, really want to buy an iPhone, guess what? The cheapest that your ass can get in is a 4.7-inch right here. And let's see, T-Mobile, because T-Mobile's for children, and you little kids who are on T-Mobile have your family plan with your parents, and you're not even paying for it. So because of, let's say rose gold, because that's the color that most of these little girls talking smack to each other on Facebook, that's the color they get their parents to buy. So little children can get in at a 32 gigabyte, barely enough to hold your selfies, barely enough to hold those selfies. $449. Well, guess what? The iPhone 7 is it's water resistant and everything. So guess what? If you can't afford the brand new iPhone XS Max 512 gigabyte like myself for 3 times the price of this bastard, $449 is where you get in. And if you can't afford that, well, then you know what you could do? You can go over to Samsung, and you can go over, what's T-Mobile selling this week? Because, you know, T-Mobile's for children, and they sell children phones. You know, they're one step up from buying a phone at Walmart. You know, like when you buy like one of those track phones. You're not supposed to be able to afford it. You should have never had this in the first place. So wait, hold on. What's T-Mobile? T-Mobile, oh yeah, see, this is the T-Mobile website. Now, see, T-Mobile, I want you to notice something. I thought this was the Apple site when I got to it, but T-Mobile knows where their bread and butter is. T-Mobile knows all them Android phones. Those things are for children. Those things are trash. We have to sell the iPhone. We've got to advertise the iPhone in order to get people to stay interested in our site. So what do they got? And it's funny because whenever you see Galaxy plans, they're always giving away like 2 phones for the price of one. They're like, hey, you want to buy a Galaxy? Buy one, get one free. I've even seen buy one, get 2 free because you know they're trying to suck all these parents into these family plans. So guess what, people? If you can't afford the new iPhone XS Max, $379.99 for the lowest model, $279 for the next model. Guess what you can do? Since you can't afford that XS Max, what you can do is you can get yourself this Galaxy Note 9. A little bit boring there. Oh, how about, all these people, oh yeah, well, the Samsung Galaxies are outselling the iPhones. They're so much better. Oh, gee, maybe the reason why is because they're giving them away. Maybe the reason why those Samsung Galaxy 9s are selling so well and moving so well and you see people with them is because the price is $0 if you buy it today. Now, obviously, they're going to make their money back on you when they get you into that plan. They're going to make their money back. But Apple don't make no goddamn deals. Apple says, guess what, suckers? If you come in here, you better walk up in here with $379.99 ready to hand us, and the retail price of this bastard is $1,099, period. And if you can't afford that, you can drop $100 down, $1,000. This is not for everybody. This is not for children. I don't know how many times I have to say it. These parents who are putting these things in children's hands, these things are not for them. The children are supposed to be paying attention in school and doing their work. And the rest of you who are in college, your parents aren't supposed to be paying your cell phone bill. I worked from the moment I got my working papers. I was in high school. I was working across the street at a mobile mart, and I was making minimum wage. And now I'm a master of the universe making over $100 an hour. So that minimum wage shit don't mean nothing to me. In fact, minimum wage is $0. You should, if that was the case, you'd be working for nothing but tips. Guess what? This ain't for you. So stop watching it. Stop looking at it. Stop crying about it. Santa Claus is not coming down your chimney carrying nothing. You're not getting it. So if you don't have a credit card that you haven't already maxed out, because some of y'all who be leasing phones, I got people who come on my channel talking about how bad it is to lease cars. Meanwhile, y'all are leasing cell phones. Oh yes, well if I just pay $80 a month extra in addition to the $30 a month, I can get this XS Max Plus. I can get that, and then I'll pay $199 on my T-Mobile bill. It ain't working this time because guess what? Your upgrade schedule hasn't reached yet, number one. And number two, your credit card's maxed out. So because of President Trump and all his wisdom, those welfare checks that you used to be getting for them Obama phones and all that stuff, you ain't getting that this year because of President Trump. So if you upset about President Trump taking away your welfare check, I suggest you go down there in November and get ready to vote. Because that's about the only way you ever going to even consider getting that check back. You're going to have to put a Democrat back in the White House. And that's about it. It ain't happening. It just ain't happening. So look. Okay, so we can't afford this beautiful, lovely phone. We can't afford that. And you most likely can't afford this either. And most likely, most of y'all can't afford that Note 9. But the thing about it is nobody really wants the Note 9. And the reason why is because all these damn things look alike. They want what doesn't look alike. They want the exclusiveness. See, I got people with all these attacking comments, and they're like, oh yeah, well, if you can't properly... Wait, I have to read this comment that this dude, one of these dudes, wrote this comment. I gotta read that comment. I have to read that comment. Oh yeah, well, if you can't properly figure out what's worth money, I have to read that comment, that stupid jerk off. I have to read that comment. I have to. Let me get to that. Oh, here he is. You see this comment? Cedric Phillips. No one is upset at your ability to improperly analyze the competition. It's extremely infuriating and dense that you constantly mention Android phones that or designed for mid to low range consumers phones. This guy doesn't believe in apostrophes. That were never intended to be competition to iPhone's flagship devices, but to only pursue mid to low income consumers. Basically, I could break all that down by saying what he's talking about is that having phones like this from all these Android makers allows poor people in Asia, all 4 billion of them, to be able to buy this stuff. Meanwhile, people like me are going out and spending $1,600 on an iPhone. So anyway, you never said anything. You never said anything factual. It's all opinion-based, something that women do Now, notice that the bastard's attacking women. Now, we said nothing about women. He's attacking women now, this misogynist. Cedric Phillips, you misogynist. Why are you attacking women? So anyway, women do it impetuously. Now, we never said anything about women. He's attacking women. There's nothing wrong with buying a $1,600 phone if you can afford it or you just like to spend money like that. But there's something wrong with telling people that to buy a $1,600 phone that is not a better value than the competition. I think there's something wrong with that sentence structure. I'm pretty sure there's something wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with buying a $1,600 phone if you can afford it or you just like to spend money like that, but there's something wrong. Oh, what he was supposed to do, the idiot, was supposed to put a comma and then but there is something blah, blah, blah. This run-on sentence and the shit doesn't even have a capital. So anyway, then you steal another YouTuber's channel name. Now, fuck that. I didn't steal any other YouTuber's channel name. First of all, I can tell you right now, this name, Big Truck Series Motorsports, the name Big Truck Series Review came from the fact that I used to roll around in big SUVs, just like the Jeep SRT that I have now. And I had a friend who's now deceased who came up with that name, and he used to call me Big Truck Series. And when he'd see me with a brand new truck, like if he saw me in a brand new Ford Expedition 2002, or if he saw me in a Cadillac Escalade EXT or something, that's what he called me. So, Cedric, your comment is stupid, and I think I'm going to probably delete it later. So anyway, then you steal another YouTuber's channel name and use it as a clickbait title, no innovation. The shitty-ass sentences. Learn how to use commas and hyphens, you moron. So then you steal another YouTuber's channel name and use it as a clickbait title. There should be a period here. No innovation should be capital, you dummy. No innovation, just like Apple. This was not honest. It was not truthful. It did not express honest, valid points for the normal consumer. iPhone users never now he's accusing iPhone users of never doing research. Never research, never study, never look at stats. Fuck the stats. I already know the stats for your Galaxy shit looks better because what they do is they do the same thing every single time. They one-up Apple every single time. If Apple has 3 gigabytes of RAM, well, guess what? We got 5. If Apple has a camera that's got 12 megapixels, well, guess what? We got 13. All of your one-upping has meant nothing up until this point. Nothing at all. That's why you shouldn't even be arguing with Apple users because we already know that we stand above you. Don't bother arguing with us. As far as we're concerned, Apple products are the absolute best. And there's a reason for that. It's because iOS does not run on anything else. I want iOS. I do not want that shitty Android. I don't want it. I've used it. I've used it on LG. I've used it on Samsung. I don't want it. You can't argue with us. Stop trying. So anyway, iPhone users never research, never study, never look at stats. They just assume that what they have is the best. There's a reason why we assume what we have is the best, because Apple has put together so much R&D in building these things. They have tested everything. They didn't bring that big screen iPhone out until they were 100% certain that, number one, that they could make it battery power efficient. They didn't want to bring out a big screen like they did back when that the Evo 4G came out and the phone was running out the batteries in almost no time because it was just a big screen. It's just like this. You see this display? This is a Alienware. Look at this. This is an Alienware 34-inch display. 34 inches. And this right here, Alienware Core i9 computer. This computer right here, in addition to this display, in addition to this keyboard, in addition to this computer right here, all together, because you know the Core i9 Extreme, that was a $1,700 CPU alone. Forget the tower. That thing was expensive. All of this stuff has been tested. All of this stuff, all these LED lights, all this shit's been tested. When they test and they do R&D and everything, Apple's R&D is unstoppable. They know basically everything. They've tested this shit in and out. They know what they're doing. The Android people, all they do is they just throw their shit together. And they're like, oh, Apple's got that? Well, guess what? We got just a little bit more than Apple, so you'll come buy from us. We ain't falling for it. We want iOS. We do not want Android at all. at all. So we're going to stick with iOS. That's the end of it. Just because you can't afford it doesn't mean that we're going to feel bad about a purchase. We're going to have fun making fun of you. And that's just what it is. So now that I got that out my system, I think what I'm going to probably end up doing is once I feel like I've had enough of looking at that stupid comment, Cedric's comment is going to get hit with the remove button. But I'm not just there yet. I could do it right now because on this channel, I'm basically God. So if I want, I could remove that shit right now. I'm not going to do it just yet. You know, I'm going to wait and then I'll smite him later. So anyway, Tim Cook, the entire point of this guy being on these television shows is defending the pricing of the phones, which I think is ridiculous. You don't see the Bugatti chairman defending the price of a Bugatti Chiron. You don't see the Lamborghini chairman defending the price of an SUV Lamborghini, because as far as I'm concerned, all that thing is a rebadged Audi Q8 or Q9 or whatever. You don't see that guy out there saying, oh yeah, well, this Urus may be priced at $300,000, but, you know, we have Uruses for everybody. No, because they're an exclusive product. They don't want you driving it. That's the whole point. If you can't afford it, they don't want you having it. Half of y'all couldn't even hope to afford the maintenance on one of these cars. Like, I think your entire salary couldn't go to afford the maintenance on one of these cars. These things break down like that. Carbon ceramic brakes. Where the fuck are you going to get $10,000 for a brake job? Half of y'all can't even handle a $500 brake job. So these people who think that just because a new product comes out, that they're supposed to be able to afford it, that's what happens with American consumerism. Half of y'all have never worked for anything. Most of y'all are still just in school. And what bothers me is that some of y'all are using student loan money to buy stuff like this. Like you're buying MacBooks and stuff using student loan money, running up the national debt by buying student loan. And the problem is they allow you to have those student loans and they just let you do anything with it. And then you try to default later because you realize you got a useless liberal arts degree you can't get a job in. That bothers me as a Republican. That really bothers me. So anyway, let's read a couple of these comments. I love the comments. Love the comments. Let's see what the comments have to say. Let's read a couple of comments. Somebody asked me to do this video specifically so I could read some comments. So, well somebody had one of these. Who cares? I think they are overpriced. Just paid $170 for my new LG Android phone. Now notice that the loser didn't even name the type of phone it was. He just was focused on the fact that he paid $170 on it. So you don't even know which one it is. And I want to understand the reason why they do that, the reason why they leave out the name is because the second that you hear, oh yeah, well you just got a $170 Stylo 3.5, then everybody will start attacking it. They'll be like, yeah, well, that phone's bullshit. That phone's not even as powerful as an iPhone 7. So, nah, you know, $170. Yeah, okay. Oh, let's see. Like many of the wealthy in our country, he has totally lost his grip on what reality looks like for the rest of us. Before I even go on, you know what reality looks like for the rest of you? Reality looks like you're supposed to be saving up money in order to improve your personal situation. Reality for the rest of you looks like you're supposed to not be comfortable with a minimum wage job at $13. You're supposed to be working harder so that you can get a better job that's paying $50 or $60 or $70 or something an hour. And then you can complain about how little you're making then. You think that just because a new product comes out that you're supposed to be able to afford it. And I'm telling you right now that that ain't true. So guess what, Sandra? You ain't getting it. When I'm up there online on Friday and I'm picking up my XS Max 512, I'm going to be thinking about you, Sandra. You know what I'm going to be online saying? I'm going to be like, man, it's too bad Sandra can't afford the XS Max $1,600. It's too bad she can't. But guess what? That's what it is. So anyway, I have a $20 flip phone. See, right there, you've invalidated yourself. Why would you even say some stupid shit like that? I have a $20 flip phone and a Pocket Coolpix camera. What do you think this is, the 1990s? A Pocket Coolpix camera? Are you kidding me? Sandra, you just invalidated yourself. You've got nothing to say from now on. You are invalid. You're an invalid. Okay, let's see. Gotta love Cook's argument that financing makes iPhones affordable, so maybe then it's okay if an iPhone costs as much as a car. Jesus Christ. Let me tell you something. If Apple came out with an iPhone that cost as much as a car, and I want you to consider the fact that iPhone didn't even cost as much as the Apple Watches. Apple Watches were costing $14,000 and $18,000 in certain gold. So technically, that's as much as a car. So if they can sell an Apple Watch, in fact, let's go see. Let's go see what Apple's got for us this week. Let's see how expensive this shit really gets. Apple's Hermes, I believe it is. They've got these things so fucking expensive that unless you were a prince of Dubai, you can't possibly afford one. Let's see, order. Let's see how much these things are. Now, these are the watches, mind you. These aren't even the phones. $1,003 for the watch. $1,299. I know, and when they had those signature gold cases come out, those things were like $18,000 and $20,000. So if Apple did, guess what? If they did make an iPhone that cost as much as a car that you could finance, well, guess what? If you show up and you got the money and you want to buy it, that's up to you. That's called the free market, kid. Forget that socialism, Bernie, communist, Sanders worshiping nonsense. Forget it. Socialism doesn't work, never has worked, never will work. It damn sure ain't gonna work here. So if you want some socialism, you move your ass to Europe, one of them countries that is failing right now and going through austerity, like Greece. Yeah, like their economy collapsed. Yeah, go there. So anyway, cost of manufacturing the iPhone is around $198, especially since they are manufacturing in China. It should never priced that high. Maybe around $500 makes sense. Well, maybe that's true, but you know what Apple said? They said, fuck that. What we're going to do is we're going to charge enough on this thing so that everybody lines up on this is going to give us enough profit so that we can be making iPhones 10 years from now that cost $30,000. And we're paying for their R&D. So guess what, guy? If you don't like it, then guess what? You're not getting one. That's what the market will bear. If it was overpriced, it wouldn't sell. Guess what? When I went to order mine, they were mostly sold out. So guess what that means? That means that they're selling. And if they're selling, that means that there's people who've got money to buy them. Don't think that everybody's making your minimum wage $13 an hour. We're not. A lot of us are driving better, living in better houses. I'm about to buy a fucking house for $300,000. Do you think I'm worried about a $1,600 phone? I'm worried about the $300,000 house. I ain't worried about $1,600. And then my YouTube check is going to buy the phone anyway. And then I'm selling my other phone on eBay and I'll recoup at least $850, possibly $900. I ain't worried about it. You don't worry about it. It's called the free market, kid. Learn some Republican values. Get that socialist Bernie Sanders bullshit out of your mouth. It's called Republicanism, kid. Learn the free market. So anyway, okay, I'm an Apple fan, but these prices are getting ridiculous for basically the same phone. It ain't the same phone. It got 512 gigabytes. I can record on that thing for 8 hours. 4K, 60 frames per second. Can your Galaxy do that? The answer is no. And you know what? Just so some people don't, point out my obvious bias, the Galaxy Note 9, as many people point out, has different versions too. I know look at this, 128 gigabytes. Now, first of all, you already know that's too fucking small for me. 128 gigabytes ain't nothing. So I want you to understand, they're selling a cheap 128 gigabyte phone and they're justifying it by saying, oh, well, you can upgrade the memory to 512, just like the iPhone. So guess what? If you upgrade your memory, look at this. You see the calculator? 512 plus 128 equals 640. So you can have 640 gigabytes for a fraction of the price of that iPhone. So wait, okay. So that means what I have to do now is I have to buy a 512 gigabyte card, right? So how much is that? Well, where are your accessories? Do we see accessories here? Where's the accessories? I want to have a 512 gigabyte SD card. And I know that these phones also claim that the new Android goes up to 2 terabytes. But if you can show me a 2 terabyte SD card, micro SD card that's 2 terabytes that doesn't cost $1 trillion, I'd love to see it. So let's see, 512 micro SD card. How much is that? Oh, well, look at this. One of the few companies that I would trust is SanDisk, PNY, possibly Samsung, of course. A 512 gigabyte. I want you to all to understand this because the thing about it is you got to understand. I used to sell computers. I used to sell cameras. It's like there's no argument that you can make that I can't tear apart piece by piece. A 512 gigabyte micro SD card not only is not as fast as Apple's built-in system-on-chip memory, but this thing costs $349. So, first of all, it's not as fast as Apple's system-on-chip memory. It's NAND flash. But this thing is $349. So, for the person who was telling me that, oh yeah, well, you can just buy a memory card, well, this thing is $349. So, that means I'd have to spend $349 on top of whatever the price I bought the phone was. So don't try to make it like Apple's, selling me something cheap or selling me something overpriced. This fucking piece of shit is $349. So I would have to spend an extra $349. Let's say I bought this phone, the regular price on this thing. The regular price on this thing, because I'm just buying my phone. I'm not getting the contract for it. I'm just buying it. This thing's $1,000, right? It says it's right there. Like you can't try to say, yeah, you're lying. You can't try to say you're biased. This thing's $1,000. So that means that most of the people who would love to be buying themselves a Galaxy Note 9 are trying to figure out how the fuck they save up $1,000. So guess what? This is $1,000 right here, right? That's $1,000. The 512 gigabyte card from the company I trust, because that's 400 gigabyte. That's $349. Let's see if Samsung makes one, because I know Samsung's is more expensive. Let's say you only trust Samsung. 256 is $179. I don't think they have a 512 gigabyte because I don't see it. And I only see the SanDisk one, and it says, okay, right here. August 10, 2018. Samsung will soon launch a 512 gigabyte SD card. So all those people who are talking all this smack about SD cards being able to somehow match Apple's storage, well, guess what? The 2 terabyte doesn't exist yet. The 1 terabyte doesn't exist yet. And Samsung hasn't even made a 512, which will probably be more expensive than the PNY, which, as far as I know, doesn't really come with a warranty. See, that's another thing. When you buy the Apple, it says the cards are PNY and Integral make the cards that cost over $300. So now I've just given you another piece of the argument that, first of all, this thing is inferior to the speed, the reading and writing speed. It's inferior to the iPhone, number one, because Apple's read and write speeds are able to keep up with iMovie, which is what I use to finalize all my videos. But this thing's $349. So that's $349 plus $1,000 on your Galaxy phone if you're buying it like me and you're not paying for a service contract, right? Because I don't want the contract. I just want the phone. I'm buying that shit outright. I'm not leasing it. I'm just buying it outright, right? So that's $1,349 that you'd be paying. So basically, the cost of the XS Max 512, since there are 2 of them, well, the Samsung phone has, how big is that screen? Because I'm pretty sure that's the max. It matches the max in size. I'm pretty sure it's something big. This is 6.4 inches, right? So this one's 6.4 inches, which means that this is the exact match for the, what is it called? The XS Max, right? This is 6.5. The Galaxy is 6.4. If you buy it without a carrier, well, that says T-Mobile, but if you buy this thing without a carrier, this thing is SIM. It's free unlock SIM. Buy it without a carrier. The price is $256, $1,249, or $512, $1,449. So basically, this is $100 more because 512 gigabytes is coming with it, but it's $100 more. Now, you can make the argument that, yeah, the phone that you were buying, the Galaxy phone, has 128 gigabytes built in. But the bottom line that I'm getting to is that ain't a 512 gigabyte Galaxy phone. That's not what that is. So, wait, let's see. How much is the retail price, the actual retail price, no bullshit, of, what is it called? What is it? Galaxy Note 9 512 gigabyte. Let's see how much it is with the built-in flash. Well, how much is that? How much is it? Who has it? Amazon? Galaxy Note 9, 128. All I see is 128s. I don't even see a 512. Oh, wait, here it is. Samsung Galaxy Note, something, 512 gigabyte midnight black, 6.4, blah, blah, blah. That's $1,214. So you mean to tell me that the same people who talking all this shit about being able to buy a Galaxy with X, Y, and Z your phone still costs over $1,200, and that's from Amazon. So I have to assume that Amazon is getting you probably a better price than the regular market would have. So you're still paying $1,200. So my phone would be $200 more than yours, match 512 for 512. So, okay, I think I've had enough fun proving my point. I've had enough fun. So let me go back to just a couple of these comments. Let's see. Okay, I'm an Apple fan, but these prices are getting ridiculous for basically the same phone. Well, guess what? You ain't getting it. That's the bottom line. You ain't getting it. I'm getting it. You're not. So make sure you tune in Friday so you can see mine, because that's as close as you're ever going to get to it unless you buy it used like 2 years from now. So anyway, they pay it because people will buy it. It costs about $230 to make. Everybody's got their made up numbers about how much they think it costs to make. Meanwhile, Tim Cook hasn't told you how much it costs to make, so what do you know? But if people are willing to buy it, that is on the buyer. I don't buy new cars. So you drive around in old shit. I don't buy new cars because of the markup. It's a choice. Yeah, it's a choice for poor people to make, loser. So anyway, I won't ever buy an iPhone simply because the app I use for work doesn't work on iPhone. You know what? You're automatically invalid. So just because you got a loser job where they don't have apps that actually work, that's the reason why you come up with whatever. I am not going to pay over $1,000 for an iPhone or any phone for that matter. I have a Samsung J3. And you know that's a piece of shit because I bought my chick a J6 in the Philippines for $200 and something dollars. So, you know, he's got, this guy right here is a big tough guy. He's got a Samsung J3. What a joke. The J stands for joke. So anyway, you can't blame Apple. They have enough sheep devoted to them who will pay any price for anything with the Apple logo on it. They probably could have sold it for $2,000 and the sheep will still flock in to the Apple stores to buy them up. Well, he got 2 thumbs down, but you know this person's an idiot. And then the first guy, exactly, some will buy it because it's so expensive just for ego. I'm buying it because it has a 512 gigabyte NAND flash and because it has a liquid crystal display and shit. I would not be surprised to see a $2,000 iPhone in a few short years. Well, guess what? If they do have a $2,000 one, I'll be sure to start saving up my tax returns for it, okay? If you have an iPhone 2 versions older than these new ones, get ready for problems. Now, so you see why I ridicule these people, right? Now you understand. So to go back to this loser Cedric Phillips who put this poorly written, stupid comment on my channel. It's like people like him give me the energy to do what I do. And your arguments are invalid. You sound ridiculous. You seem to not be able to type properly either, but I won't hold that against you because somebody will label me a grammar Nazi. But for the most part, what I've said before, all of you Android fanboys might as well go and argue with other Android fanboys. Apple users are going to take their Apple products and they're going to go sit off to the side and they're going to be happy with their Apple products while you guys are busy fighting each other for space. So while we're all over here on Apple Island, we'll be sitting back watching you fight each other. So you'll be arguing, oh no, the Galaxy 9's better. No. The Razer phone's better because I can play PUBG and I can play Fortnite on it. Oh no, no she didn't. The Galaxy J9 is better. Y'all will be arguing with each other forever about which one's better. And meanwhile, every September, Apple is going to come out there and they're going to laugh at everybody and they'll release whatever they release. It will sell. You'll watch us line up. When you try to go to the mall, we're going to be standing in your way and you're not even going to be able to get where you're trying to go because the lines for these products are going to be so long. And meanwhile, you'll be sitting back wondering, oh yeah, all those Apple sheep. Why don't people line up for Samsung phones? And the simple fact is because nobody cares.